AI we focused at the moment. I still remember Newton's law. Innovation is more of a mindset. You don't need so much of fancy equipments it starts in the mind.
We are talking about AI, but nobody is actually taking the active steps in promoting or implementing the AI in the business scenario.
Being an active banker right now, do you see the opportunity over there with the way AI is moving as a technology that you could actually create projects, build very quickly, and also justify the return on investment pretty fast?
There will be more risk only when you don't adopt the technology in proper way.
It's a situation of adopt it or be left behind.
If today, in this AI world, if you had to build a bank again, how would you go about building the team? What are the kind of people you'd interact with?
The bank we opened today would be a lot easier to manage than the bank we opened at that.
In what sense?
How we design, in the same way the AI will deliver,
The people that are actually working on these jobs, what happens to them? Like, where do they reskill? Where do they move?
Difficulties will be there.
Yeah.
Problems will be there. But the primary thing is that what you take as a pride, that's more important.
Which are the areas that my bank should start looking into AI adoption? Which, according to you, are like the lowest hanging fruits? Thank you so much for doing this. I think I had multiple conversations with both of you regarding banking. What I've really learned is how the banking industry as such has really transformed over the years. And then when we are entering into a post-AI world, there is so much we can take lessons from that history. But to start with, again, thank you so much for doing. But then we just quickly want to start from your quick introduction. What are you doing? Where are you involved with? And then we can probably go from there. Maybe we can start from Govinda.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much for inviting me here. Myself, Govinda Gurung. I'm currently working as Chief Executive Officer of Agriculture Development Bank. I come from Lamjung. And my initial education was also in Lamjung. And I started my banking career from Himalayan Bank Limited. And it's been almost 29 years now I have been in the banking. And during that period, I worked in Myanmar also for 2 years as CEO of Myanmar Citizens Bank. I think that sums up.
Amazing. And Suman?
Well, I'm a geologist by education.
Geologist?
Yes.
Okay, this I'm
So it so happened there was a good paying job in Nabil Bank, and then I got a job there and I became a banker later on. Enjoyed banking all my life. I spent 26 years in Nepal as banker in Barrier Bank. My last assignment was Sunrise Bank CEO. Then I moved as a CEO of an investment company in Singapore and to Sydney. From Sydney, I moved to Dallas. In Dallas, I used to work for the clean energy projects. Then I moved back to Nepal again, and I started my career in as you know, I'm into academics now. I run a company called Drucker Leadership Academy. This is basically management, leadership, and AI we're focused at the moment. My education, as I said, I am a geologist, science background. I still remember Newton's law. So I still remember Newton's law, but banking has eaten up my geology side of it.
Okay.
More or less, I enjoyed doing maybe that was the reason I was a banker all my life.
Okay, nice. But I think like both of you have had a history of working together for a pretty long time.
Yes.
And I think one thing that really stood out for me in different conversations was how you worked at very critical points for some banks.
Yes.
So it would be great if you could share a bit of that as well.
Well,
I'd like you to start. Yes, please.
I was in a field visit in Biratnagar from Himalayan Bank, and I received a call from a new bank being opened. It was at the conception level, and then I was offered a CEO job when I was a senior manager in Himalayan Bank. That was like 7 layers jump as a CEO. If I was in Himalayan Bank, I would it would require 7 layers of promotions to be in that position, and I immediately accepted it. In fact, I accepted all my opportunities immediately. I mean, I did not even consult, I did not even think of calling my wife and asking her whether or not I should take that opportunity. But then the anxiety started the moment I dropped the phone.
Okay.
So then I was a junior guy in the industry. I had this opportunity, and later on, what it became was we were supposed to open the bank in Birganj as a regional bank, but then there was an opportunity to open it in Kathmandu. In Kathmandu, and it became suddenly a Herculean task. And since I was a junior in the industry, it was so difficult to select my team, because anyone senior to me in the industry will not come and work as a junior to me, obviously. So the best person, Govind and me resonated so well in Himalayan Bank. He already had in my mind, but maybe not as a second person. He would be in the team, but not as a second person. But then later on, I decided he's the man.
Okay.
Because of our, not only professional relationship, also a personal relationship. One good thing about Govind is like, I've never seen such level of honesty in this generation of professionals. He comes with that, a lot of hard work. I knew he was a midnight worker, so I thought with Govind and myself, we can just explore this opportunity and selected him.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those good words. As you said, I was then head of credit marketing, CRD, we would call
Yeah.
customer relations department, where we used to look after all the credit and deposit liability management at Himalayan Bank main branch terminal, which used to hold almost 50% of the total portfolio of the bank. So he was the branch manager at that time, and Anup ji was, 2IC to him, and then I was the head of department. And he offered me the job, and he also gave me a choice. Because I started my banking career from operations, he offered me the choice that whether you would like to be in operations side or you would like to be in the business side. He had not much seen me in the business side, because I was reporting to in my initial days I was reporting to him as an operations officer. So he offered me. I said I would choose business, because I had worked in Himalayan Bank Hetauda branch and Pokhara branch, and that is all out business functions. So he was a little bit surprised when I said I would work for you as a chief of the business. And as you said, that was a pretty difficult decision. I didn't make a quick decision. I analyzed everything, because at that time the head office was supposed to be in Birganj. So I discussed a lot with him also, and then with my family also, whether to accept. Generally, I do a lot of analysis.
Okay.
Not like him. I do the analytical part for him also.
Okay.
So he offered me a 2 posts. Higher up. Like I was waiting for the managerial promotion to the manager level, but I was still a deputy manager at that time. I had been 3 years in that deputy manager position and head of department. So he offered me senior manager outright, and then I accepted. So then we joined together, and there were other friends also. So we started a bank. We started from D minus scratch, from the dust, and then we created a new bank. We always have a pride of creating a new bank. As he said, nobody believed in us in those days, because there were so many people. Some of them were maybe jealous also. Some of them with good intention also. Trying to pull us down, or not to join, or revert our decisions. Those kind of things also were there. But when we started, when we took the risk, so many people supported us. Many clients, many staffs, the board of directors, so many people supported us, even the regulators. So at that time, he had a very good relationship with regulators also. So with those support, we created a good bank, and we were in 6 months' time we were able to catch up with those banks who were already in the market for 3 years. So that was biggest achievement at that time, and then people started recognizing us and then our ability to work. So he's the leader, and we always, followed his instruction. As you, frequently hear that, he's messaging midnight also, and we follow those. That's how we work.
I can also
yes.
vouch for that.
Because,
We worked
because
with him for
we
some time.
had a fear of failure also at
Yeah.
that time, because we were having a good job at that time, and then switching to new bank which has not even established at that time, only with the letter of intent. It was pretty difficult decision, and very risky decision also career wise, and being the CEO also coming from a little bit junior background, and I myself even junior than that. That was courageous decision, I would say.
Okay. I think we can start from where you wanted.
Just adding up to him, we had a fear, we had a challenge. And then my problem is I always accepted something new. And I would rather say not rationally, but rather accidentally. Nabil Bank was an accident for me because I was educated geologist. And after that, like bringing in MasterCard, bringing in ATM, bringing in telebanking, bringing in new banking software, everything was somehow an accident. Becoming a computer guy of that time was also an accident for me, and this was the biggest accident. Global Bank was it was a mega accident rather. I accepted the challenge. I did not know what to do about it. He came in, then we decided by hook or crook.
Okay.
By hook or crook was our motto at that time. But then, with positive mindset, positive, hard work, smart work, in 100 days, we created a bank which was slightly bigger than a bank which was already in the market for the last 3 years.
In 3 months.
3 years.
In 3 years. Okay.
Yeah. Slightly bigger than the bank. And we came up with an ad, as I mentioned to you last time also about
3
this
years,
ad.
right? 3 months, 100 days, 3 months.
In 3 months,
okay.
our age was 3 months, but that bank
Otherwise
was
Was already
3
existent
years
for
old.
3 years. Okay.
So we came with an ad, a pocket watch, our deposit figure, our lending figure, and then our balance sheet size with a caption, "Samaile ta हामीलाई पछ्याउन लागेछ."
Okay.
I would never forget that ad because that was a milestone of our career actually.
Yes.
That was a milestone. So I just wanted to add that to
Okay.
whatever he said.
Yeah. That's amazing. And
That's the
especially-
time when people started believing in us.
Okay.
And otherwise, earlier, nobody was believing in us.
People in Nepal, there was a culture like, if you are not, what do you say that, a midnight lamp, but that had to be in the office. My window in the office had to be lit
Okay.
to tell the society that I was working
Still
hard.
working. Okay.
Whereas, as he mentioned, we used to work midnight, 2 o'clock. From home, obviously.
Okay.
People don't work from the office at
Yeah,
2
they've been
o'clock,
there.
2 a.m., But we were seen as incompetent people, very junior people who go home at 6 o'clock. So they were a little skeptical about us, like, is this bank going to survive?
Okay.
And they used to go back to our promoters and tell them, I don't see the lights on in your,
Yeah.
in your head
Office.
office.
Yeah.
What is Suman doing? What is Govinda doing? But
Yeah.
Govinda and Suman were burning the midnight lamp at home.
At home.
That was proven on the 100th day of the bank.
Yeah. This becomes very interesting when we look at you as young professionals then. And let's say we are looking at some young professionals right now, and especially in the kind of world that we are in right now. Do you think there can be another major disruption in bank, especially with this post-AI world that we are in? Do you think a relatively younger team can come and pretty much repeat a very similar feat right now in Nepal? Is it possible? From a lot of different angles, regulation, from experience, from the industry, a lot of different angles.
Yes, of course. Would you like to say on
Yeah,
this?
I think I'll just mention the history of how technology was adopted by banks because I was part of it. when we started Nabil Bank, we did not have a computer in the bank, but we used to, the Nabil Bank had an image in the market, it was a computerized bank. We used to have a machine, NCR 299, which is even inferior to a credit card reader of now, the POS machine, even inferior of that machine. And we used to give a printed statement to the customer, and we used to camouflage ourselves as a computerized bank. But that computer, I mean, pseudo computer used to create a lot of problem for us, and the maintenance guy had to come all the way from Dhaka all the time.
Okay.
So almost every week somebody was in Nabil Bank fixing the machine. So we decided, no, this is not going to take the bank long way. So we decided to create something for 3 months, a PC-based system, IBM 299 or something. I don't know. I've forgotten the. So we bought two PCs, paid about 300,000 or 400,000 rupees each.
Okay.
A PC with like 10 MB hard drive, 10 MB hard drive. And we created the software. There was a guy from, still remember his name, Anil Garg. He came from Delhi. Jointly with Mercantile, we created a banking software which will do a customer recording, and in a separate PC, it will do the banking internal accounting.
Okay.
That system was created in a month's time. Most probably that is the first computerization system of Nepal.
Which year was this?
That was in 1985.
1985.
1985. We used to work almost 20 hours a day. I used to go home just to change, take a bath and change.
Okay.
My parents were worried, is he really working or he is already involved in something else?
Okay.
Yeah, parents are supposed to be worried,
Yeah. Yeah.
But we created that software in a month.
Okay.
It got implemented and it was supposed to be a bridge gap. We were thinking of bringing Capiti system and IBM system 36. But that was so expensive option for Nabil Bank. We decided it will not go that route, and a team, including myself, we went to Dubai to our parents' company, Emirates Bank International, studied their banking system, came back to Nepal, and two programmers from Mercantile and myself all the time, and then one more person from Nabil Bank. In 2-3 months' time, we created a distributed, networked banking software for.
Okay. That was built here.
Yeah, I think NetWare was one of the initial LAN product.
Okay.
We used NetWare and DBase database and created that system. That was also supposed to be temporary, but later on, Mercantile created their own version as Pumori. We used to call it Napsys in Nabil Bank.
Okay.
They created Pumori, and I think Pumori is still running in smaller financial institutions.
Yes, Pumori
still
Plus.
running in Nepal.
Even the bigger
I'm
institutions.
one of the acknowledgement winner of Pumori Plus.
Okay.
When you boot the system, then my name flashes in it.
Oh, still.
Yeah, still.
Okay.
So that's
Which year was this? When was this getting implemented? In
1987.
87. Okay.
1987.
Okay.
So whenever
And then-
we use Pumori in Himalayan Bank also, sometimes you used to, exhibit Napsys.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was
So,
some
and then-
error,
Okay.
So Napsys used to still come in the computer screen at that time if there are some errors or problems.
And then Himalayan Bank was a very, very forward-looking in terms of technology. Because of the current CEO, Ashok Samsher Rana, and also the then Executive Director, Pratibha Pandey. We were very, very forward-looking in terms of technology adoption. So we brought in telebanking, most probably for the first time in the whole region. Even Singapore did not have it at that time.
Okay. This was
Telebanking was a very, very simple thing. 1986.
1986.
1993.
okay.
That was, you use a touch-tone telephone, dial a number, and it'll tell you your balance. It'll keep your checkbook ready, printed and ready to be handed over. It'll keep your statements ready at the branch level.
Yeah.
So that was not even there in Singapore.
Okay.
And then the other thing we brought in the first time was the ATM machine, all the way from Brazil.
Okay.
All that machine is still
Brazil.
in Himalayan Bank head office.
Which year was this?
That was 1995.
1995.
1995, 94, 95. I'll not exactly remember the date.
Okay.
And we introduced a credit card, our own proprietary card, for the first time in Nepal. It was called Himalayan Bank card. That was during the opening of the bank in 1992.
Okay.
What else we did for the first time? Himalayan Bank was the lead bank for bringing SWIFT to Nepal.
Swift.
Yeah,
Okay. Which year was this?
I don't remember, but
Okay.
it'll be during the 90s.
90s,
During
late
the
90s.
yeah. So we did many, many new things in Himalayan Bank. So that is the technological computer advancement roadmap of the banking sector of Nepal.
Yeah.
So Himalayan Bank used to create competition for the competitors,
Okay.
and they used to adopt the technology. Greenland Bank already had it, but they were relying on their parental organizations software. They used to use the server, even the server from their parents' organization.
Okay.
I mean, we created everything independent for Himalayan Bank here.
So, and then the technological team was here in Nepal, inside Himalayan Bank, or someone else was
No,
building it?
inside Himalayan Bank. That was
Okay.
there even in Nabil Bank.
Okay. So
Inside Nabil
the team that was actively building the product was inside the bank itself.
Yeah, unless we started adopting products like Finacle,
Okay.
Banks 2000, which later on became Finacle, Globus, Temenos, everything was here.
Okay.
We used to build the software here. We used to implement here. All those beta testing used to be here. Everything was here.
Okay.
Actually, I got a job in Himalayan Bank because of my background as an AppSys developer.
Okay.
I was the only person available from the banking side in Nepal who could implement Pumori Plus.
In Nepal, in different
Yeah,
banks. Okay.
yeah. So that was the reason they hired me.
Okay.
And since that small work was not sufficient for my salary, they gave me also operations department.
Okay.
That's how I became a regular banker. Otherwise, in Nabil Bank, I was just a computer guy.
Okay.
Okay, going back to your original question, whether the younger generation should intervene or disrupt in the banking industry
Yeah.
and take risk. What I feel is that they have to come and they have to take that career risk and they have to intervene also. I mean, particularly in this age where the banking and all the commercial activities are driven by AI and technology, because the people now, the younger generation now, they are very well equipped with the technical knowledge, much more sophisticated than us.
Yeah.
So they have that privilege. They have the university in palm. They can learn anything and they have access to all the information. They can do many things with the support of technology and artificial intelligence at this point in time.
Yeah.
So only thing is that they have to come with a lot of perseverance, hard work, the ability to work hard, and then discipline. Technical know-how, that's required, but along with that they have to come with hard work and zeal, the ability to work, and that confidence also that they can make an impact. So not only in the IT industry but in banking industry and in all other functions also, younger generations should come, disrupt, and go for the change. Otherwise, if we move in the traditional way that we are doing now,
Yeah.
in this space, the transformation in banking and consequently transformation in economy of the country will not happen because the world has moved a lot ahead of us in terms of use of technology in business scenarios, in banking and in other business scenarios. If you take the example of Singapore, they already have 5 digital bank. They have given the license to run the digital bank without human presence, without having a contact with the customers,
Yeah.
So they started in 2022, I think, 21, 22. The Central Bank of Singapore has already given the license to.
Yeah.
And in Europe, there are fintech companies doing cross-border banking for the small size ticket size loans and deposits also.
Yeah.
the world, with the advancement of technology, the world has advanced so much that there is no borders now in terms of payments and transfers of wealth, transfers of capital. So it has become, I mean, the real globalized scenario. I mean, globalization started long ago, but real globalization has started recently with the evolution of this technology in banking, particularly the wealth transfer, capital transfer, payments and solutions, everything. So the younger generation who are well equipped with the technical know-how, who have more knowledge and more acquainted with the technology and AI, they have to come and intervene and disrupt in the banking industry so that, I mean, all those traditional way of working will change and then will catch up with the standard of the world.
Okay. So one thing that stands out in what you just shared is that, so as you mentioned, like there was technology in Nepal when those kind of technology was not even there in Singapore. But then even if we compare the scenario right now in terms of country economy and then technological advancements, there is no comparison between a country like Nepal and a country like Singapore.
Yes, yes.
So in this entire scenario, and then we see this span across a lot of different industries as well. Like when we talk with people from technology, people from services, everyone speaks about the innovation acumen of this place not being very consistent enough through different generations. What do you see from a banker's lens, that why does such innovation does not keep on happening in Nepal? What really stops us in a bigger picture? What do you think about that?
Innovation, I think I forgot to mention one more milestone we had. Like when our banks started computerizing, most of the Indian government banks were not computerized.
Even then.
Even then. So we have so many unsung heroes in our society. You know?
Yeah.
But then innovation is more of a mindset. You don't need so much of fancy equipments, or I mean, it starts in the mind.
Yeah.
As I mentioned to you yesterday, like why machine will never win over human beings because we dream.
Yeah.
And that quality of a human being, dreaming quality of human being is so important for innovation. So we have, but we don't have a mindset like there is in CRM. We always teach the CRM students that whenever you launch a new product, the market tells you the market response is this is not for me. Individuals never accepted this product is for me. Same goes with the innovation side of it. Like we are not here to innovate.
We are not here to innovate.
We are not here to innovate, and that mindset is at all level of society. That's the problem. Otherwise, nothing can stop you from innovating.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a simple lunchtime conversation. I think we should, with the programmer in Mercantile, Prakash Bhattacharya, respected. He passed away, but I still respect him because he taught me a lot about computer. It was a lunchtime conversation with him. Why not we do this in a touch-tone telephone, and we came up with telebanking. That was innovation.
Yeah.
Because we did not block our mindset saying, no, we are not here to innovate. So I think that is the primary reason, and people are not promoted. I mean, in Taiwan, the kids are given the computer, different components of the computer, and they are not expected to build it overnight, but they just keep on playing with the computer, spares, and then one day they'll learn to create a hardware. That involvement is not there in Nepal. We have, our generation have always been restricted of doing new things. We're told you should not be taking risk. If you bike, you may fall down and break your legs. We come from that generation, right?
Yeah.
So I think the societal mindset is changing from that to a new generation, but still there is a lot to do. There is a lot to be open-minded. And innovation requires a lot of open-mindedness in my...
So do you think, just to touch upon what you just said, so the current generation that is there, Gen Z and after that, they have a very specific kind of mindset that they operate with. And they want to take risks, they want to try out new things. Do you think one of the reasons why so many people are going out of Nepal is also because this kind of ecosystem is not there where new ideas are supported, new ideas are encouraged, and they probably do not see a breeding space for something like that when we look at technology? And let's say in other countries in the global north, there are really amazing ecosystems that can actually support those kind of things. Do you think that's one of the reasons contributing to this
Yeah,
entire scenario?
I would not say people going to the Gulf or Malaysia, I would not keep them in the same basket. But people going to Europe or United States or Australia, and moreover, after education not coming back to Nepal,
Yeah.
is they don't see an environment, conducive environment in Nepal for such activities.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many names in global names who has done wonders going from Nepal as a student
Yeah.
in the corporate sector, in IT, in NASA, everywhere. They are doing wonderful things. But then coming back home, they don't see that opportunity. But then mentioning about on a lighter note, you said Gen M, right?
Gen
Gen
Z,
Z.
Gen
Gen
G,
Z,
Gen G.
Gen Z. I tell my children, you are Gen XYZ.
Why is that? Why is that?
I mean, my two daughters, they are just 4 years younger to each other, and still I can see so much of different mindset in these two kids.
Ah, okay,
I mean,
okay.
they are not kids anymore; they are young ladies, but so they are like my friends. I mean, I think they are the closest friends now.
No, I mean, just to add what he said about the, I mean, innovation and all, I absolutely agree that innovation comes from any corner, any individuals, any institutions. Uh, but to, I mean, catch up with the world standard, like why we are lagging behind, so much behind the world standard, or say like Singapore or not. And as he said, we were ahead of India when we started
Yeah.
innovations and I mean technology, use of technology in banking. But now India is way ahead of
Yeah.
us. That's the primary reason behind that is here we started the innovations or use of I mean technologies in the banking from the private sector. You know, those initiatives should have been I mean institutionalized, stabilized from the I mean regulators as well as I mean the government, and as you said, the overall I mean ecosystem should have been developed at that time. But they were, I think they were too slow to respond to the need of I mean stabilizing or institutionalizing the technological changes and adapt to that changes. So that's the reason why I mean our progress in the adoption of the technological changes was very slow, and
Yeah.
we were lagging behind. Now also, I mean, the as you said, I mean, SWIFT Himalayan Bank initiated first. Until that time, we used to use TT telex transfer, but later on, I mean, the private banks were ahead of the time and then adapting to the new changes. I mean, technologies in the banking, and then central bank or the government agencies used to follow that. So that was not properly institutionalized, and then a lot of other private banks also, I mean, were not able to, I mean, catch up with those pace, at that time. So that is one reason. Another is, as he rightly said, that I mean, there is no specific environment or situation created for promoting these, I mean, innovations and adoption of the innovations. Forget about innovations.
Yeah.
Only adoption of innovations, adoption of changes, technological changes. If we also, I mean, if we only can support those things also and promote those things also, I mean, like now AI is coming.
Yeah.
We are talking about AI, but nobody is actually taking the, I mean,
Active steps.
active steps in promoting or implementing the AI in the business scenario. Still, if we talk about AI, there will be a lot of investment required. And when we talk about investment, people start thinking or analyzing the easy money or early returns, which is not going to happen. It
Yeah.
will take time
Yeah.
to have the financial results out of that. So that's, I mean, the younger generations also not finding the place, conducive place to innovate and adapt to the innovation or apply what they have learned. That's the reason why, I mean, people are staying out, and then we are lagging behind in the technology adoption.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
I think it has to be a societal mindset, you know. Like, if I go back to the days we started computerizing the banks or adoption of technology in banking sector, earlier to that, airlines industry used to use technology to some extent. And then there was a societal mindset. This is for the airlines industry and also for the banking industry, but not for us.
Yeah.
This is not for me again. I mean, even the business corporate houses thought this is not for me. They bought a computer just to use for WordPerfect, Excel. I mean, not to office automation, rather to print a letter in a nicer, in a more attractive way.
Okay.
That was the technology adoption of the other sectors. And the government thought technology should evolve on its own. There is no intervention required.
Okay. Okay.
And that mindset is still there. To tell you a fact, we've been working very closely in AI education these days, right? Training workshop. I go to talk to my friends in different banks and other institutions, and some of the feedback I receive is like, AI is something similar to a calculator. We learned the calculator on our own, so our people should learn AI on their own. Why do they need a workshop? That mindset is still there in relatively big organizations. So it's basically the mindset.
That's true. That's true. And another thing is that, I mean, to add to that earlier point, all these technological advancement and IT digital things should have been embedded in the education system. We were too slow to, I mean, induct those things, innovation, technological innovations in the education system also. And that also, I mean, kept us behind the world standard. So today also we are developing small softwares. We have human resources, small softwares here and there, but we have not been able to develop a large scale, I mean, which can have an impact in the ecosystem or in the financial economy level. That kind of system we have not been able to innovate here also. So that basically comes from the education system you have, and we have not been able to give enough priority in the education system for the IT and digital things.
Okay.
Actually, you know, I mean, Alok, I think I must mention this. You also follow the politics of Nepal. We all do. When a new cabinet is being formed, a new government is formed, the person, this science and technology ministry is used as a strategic ministry to just to balance power in the government, in a coalition government, rather than finding a right person for that position. That itself says a lot about how is the political mindset about technology in Nepal.
Yeah. Do you think it's changing anytime soon?
It should. I mean,
It should, but I mean,
at
going by
least
the
I give all the credit to the current Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, that he at least says something which makes us think in a better way, I mean, in a more positive way about technology advancement and adaptation. He just recently also he said we should go the route of AI, and when a person of that level speaks, yeah, we make fun of him. We do so many other things about him. He also creates a situation, we make fun of him. But then some of the things like the Kerung to Kathmandu rail was never thought of by any other Prime Minister of Nepal. I mean, so that those small credits still goes to him. And in technology front also, I think all these, whatever happened with NAS IT and the government, it happened during his tenure. The last 10 years. It should change, but the pace is
So it
not
should come
enough.
from the top.
It should
Yeah.
come from the
So I
some
mean,
of it.
the
Yeah.
vision, the dreams which has come from the top has to be implemented in the bottom level also. So that has to trickle down through the education system, and
Yeah.
then people will learn the things and then be able to catch up with the world standard or any international standard.
Yeah.
That's it.
One thing, because like this year we've been working with so many different banks on educating the banking workforce for becoming AI native. In that process, we hear a couple of things that from a banking perspective, when you bring in any new technology, there is always a return on investment that is
Yes.
that's the first priority.
Yes.
And probably this is one of the golden opportunities where technology is moving so fast
Yes.
that we probably do not probably have to spend so much money, but also can implement projects on a very, very short time. I somewhere do not see that awareness coming into the banking industry with the limited exposure that we have had. Govind, so you being an active banker right now, do you see the opportunity over there with the way AI is moving as a technology that you could actually create projects, build very quickly, and also justify the return on investment pretty fast?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I was talking to my team a couple of days ago in the strategy and budget conference that with use of AI, you can double the business size, or you can deliver the products and services to the customers with the same number of people. I mean, many people are fearing that this AI thing will snatch away the jobs and then people will be out of work. It's nothing like that. As you said, people are the only creators who can dream and we can imagine and then do the works, do the innovations.
Yeah.
And AI will do only those things which are already in database, or if they can capture the database from the environment and then process those database and then implement in the job place for the benefit of the people, how we design
Yeah.
in the same way the AI will deliver, So for the designing part, for the information capture, there are only two things. Human being and the nature. These two things are the event creators or data creators. And those events and data will be processed by AI as we desire, as human being desire, and then process and then put into the system and then analyze and then come out with a result. So, banking industry, people have started talking about AI. Of course, we are already a bit late,
Yeah.
but people have now started talking about AI.
Yeah.
Gradually, they'll start understanding about it, and they will gradually, see the financial results also. It will not happen tomorrow because it will take time for the people to understand it and then see the business benefits also. But
Yeah.
it will happen. So as I said, if I am able to fully automate or use AI in my all my business processes or service deliveries or analytical things like MIS and business analytics and approvals in everything, then those 100 people working in in the particular job now can be done by AI, half the job or 100% job, and those people can be used for other imaginative and innovative things and then create the business. So there will be, if same number of people can double of the business, the profit will also double, financial return will also
Yeah.
be there. And for that purpose, we have to invest at least 25-30% whatever of the expenses we anticipate for for creating the double business. So that investment we have to make today. So we should not be we should not shy away from investing in the AI right now, because we know that the world has moved with AI, and then we know that the AI can do the things more efficiently and more accurately.
Yeah.
Even in analytics, or you just need to put the data there and then information there, and then including all those social behaviors and everything. And particularly we can start in banking, we can start from credit analysis. Right now a lot of judgment is being used, human judgment is being used.
Yeah.
So with the same credit policy guideline and analytical parameters, the decision may be different depending upon the people who are involved with that credit processing.
Yeah.
But with AI, it will be the same result.
Yeah.
Because when you put that same data, the result will be same, and that will be fair and balanced. There will be no human judgment or personal judgment involved. So it'll be better also, and it'll create better result also, and we have to move in that way, and people should not, or bankers or whatever, board of directors, they should not shy away from investing in the AI, I suppose. I feel like that.
One thing that I've seen in the market is that right now there is one opportunity, but there is another incredible risks to fall into different kinds of traps as well, because any technology can put a narrative of being AI powered, but if we are not really breaking down the problems that we're trying to solve, we probably are not pointing in the right direction of the technological usage and development and everything. Do you see a opportunity? Because just when we look at the general banking ecosystem and then the literacy of AI as a technology, and then the way it is moving, because it is moving really, really fast, and to even stay literate of that technology, we'll have to put considerable effort, which we are not used to. So when we are in a scenario like this, do you think banks in Nepal or similar countries like Nepal have a problem of falling into different traps of investing a lot in the technology, but probably not getting a lot out of it at the end?
So far, the investment in technology has given the returns. As you said, from 1985, 1986, whatever investment has been made in the technology has improved the efficiency, has improved the customer experience, has improved the overall business, So it may not be measured in tangible amounts, but there is a benefit. So, risk is always there. There will be more risk only when you don't adopt the technology in proper way. So you have to educate the people to, use it properly. You have to, set the infrastructure in a way that it'll, mitigate the risk. So there is always a risk, financial risk, technological risk, cyber risk, whatever risk. But if we train our people properly, and then what I am talking now is, basically internal. The banking, automate the banking and use the AI in the internal processing and all. That will also bring a sea change in the banking activities. So the resources in banking industry is, good enough to understand these AI things and then implement it. On the customer side, because banking ecosystem relates to the general customers, general public, as well as to the regulators, the government agencies also. So there, yes, of course, we have a little bit bigger risk. But for the implementation in the banking side, there is a little bit less risk.
Okay.
But more risk is coming out of the advancement, because the technology may be obsolete very fast. Being obsolete very fast these days. Like pager technology, it stood only for, it remained only for 5-6 months only. The people who made investment in pager, they collapsed their business. So that kind of risk is there, which is not, the innovations are being coming from the different corners of the world. We don't know, and then we are investing in this technology, and then tomorrow another better technology may come, and then there may be a problem. But that kind of risk, forcing those risks, we should not stop today's advancement. So we have to invest in technology, and technology has always proven to be unless otherwise we don't prepare properly, there is always a benefit using the technology. And this has taken us this far today. And almost, of course, we are not to the world standard, but we are progressing.
I just remember the quote from Shiv Khera, a motivational speaker of our time. I think he is into writing books now. He says, winners don't do different things. They do things differently. So I just go back to my Nabil Bank days when the bank just started. There were already 2 commercial banks in the market, and the market was not growing. It was more or less, during the Panchayat days, the market was more or less stagnant. There was no... But still, how come Nabil Bank became a better bank than the other 2 banks? Was it because Nabil Bank was doing something different? Were they offering more interest rate to the market? less interest for the borrowers. No, they were just technologically driven bank. We were just technologically driven bank as compared to Rashtriya Banijya Bank and Nepal Bank of that time. So we could offer a better service, more accurate service, a friendly service, and that those were the factors which we could become almost a first choice bank in the market. Not because of the price or whatever else. We spent a little bit of that time on technology, and it paid back to us. So I would take it that way, for the AI adaptation also. Yeah, you rightly said you could if it's a situation of adopt it or be left behind.
Pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to keep that pace with the technology or the AI advancement in the global advancement in AI, and for that matter, like we were discussing last time, it has become very important for the institution like banks to have their own innovation
Yeah.
departments.
Yeah.
Now they must think about having their own innovation department so that they can keep on creating new things to offer to the market,
Yeah.
and also for their internal strength.
I think one thing also when we are going and educating a lot of people, this is a discussion, general discussion that happens that like when we look at a human being and how our bodies and our minds evolve, every 7 8 years we are a different person, it's a different
Yes,
body.
yes, of
And
course.
then even if we look at careers, things, we look at scenarios like if we study something, skill ourselves, there was a time where it could serve us for 6 7 8 years. Right now it is adopting too fast.
Yes.
So until and unless we put very intentional effort towards learning it, using it, moving forward with it,
Yes, yes.
then it becomes a very tricky scenario.
Exactly.
So what do you think should be, as I mentioned, the structural change inside banks that could really help them in adopting to the new technology like AI and the speed of the technological advancements? What do you think about that?
I mean, the answer is again, as you said before, that the young generation should come into the system. They are the fast learners, and technology thing is, I mean, better learned and better used by those young generations. So interruptions, interventions, or disruptions would come from in the banking industry also. I mean, younger generations should step in and then adopt. That's the first thing. And even the older generation, those people who are working for last 20, 30 years, they are also a little bit, know how to operate the bank. So they have to also, they must, not have to, they must adapt to the new changes and bring in the changes. Otherwise, we'll be left behind.
So when we look at bringing young generation into banking as an industry, so if we compare technological talent, let's say an AI researcher or a machine learning developer or a software developer trying to come into banking as an industry, do you think banking as an industry is like really, really lucrative right now for them to step in as a conscious career choice? Like the context is, let's say we have so many friends in US would be, let's say, a data scientist in, let's say, JP Morgan or things like that. So we hear very less of that in Nepal. When the young generation, it's very clear that the young generation needs to come, they need to start developing things. How does banking as an industry attract those very cream talent in technology now?
Nowadays, it is said that the future banks will be run by the IT professionals.
Yeah.
That's a lot of talks in the industry, and that's going to be true also, because unless and until you have that technological knowledge or technological, ICT, information, technology and communications knowledge, then a person cannot work in the bank. So there is a lot of opportunities within the bank also. It depends. How the banks want to invest in the people, how the banks want to adapt to the technical advancement, how they want to use the AI for their products and services and automation, internal deliveries and external deliveries also. So it depends on the bank, but there is a lot of opportunity going. If we look forward to the banking industry, there is huge opportunity in the banking industry for the youngsters to come and join. And also, if the job or the pay and perks is not as attractive as the
Tech companies,
I
let's
mean,
say.
tech companies are offering, and they can do outsourcing also. A lot of banks are outsourcing because we have already a number of people, I mean, number of heads, but if they are not able to adapt to the new technology, then we cannot, uh, send them back home also. We have to carry on with those people also. So in those cases, we outsource the services from the those technical people can have a job, can have a job in tech company and then provide the service to the banks as a consultant or as a software developer or as any, innovator, but working for the bank. And so many things nowadays, F1 Soft is one of the biggest,
Yeah.
partner of the technological partner of the banks
Banks,
in the industry, and they have come across more than 2 decades, almost 23, 24 years now.
Yeah.
So we almost fully rely on the mobile banking system to them. Similarly, there are NCHL also in ECS and this check payment and check clearing things. We rely on them.
Yeah.
There are other companies also, payment solutions companies also. So that kind of, outsourcing services, outsourcing companies can also be the lucrative and attractive for the youngsters who are innovative, who are technologically well acquainted, and then still can support the banking system and for the overall advancement of the bank as well as contribute to the national economy.
When I did my engineering in India, and I remember one of my friends, Sanchit, his name was. When we were in third year, they were going for some banking competition where they were supposed to build some technology, and they won that competition. They were funded by the bank. Later on, if I'm not wrong, the technology went towards building the some part of what today Paytm is, and then Sanchit as an individual, and I think his team as well, went and joined Paytm, and probably still works there till now. So in this context, if I am a student, let's say in Pulchur campus, and I'm a computer science student, I want to build some technology for banks. How would I even understand banking as an industry? Are there platforms right now where I can come in, build some technology, interact with the industry, so that I can actually see an opportunity of building probably the next F1 Soft here in Nepal?
Yes. There are a lot of areas where we should improve. We can improve also. And then if those kind of people, innovative people, want to know more about the process and automation, the service deliveries, the customer experience, or whatever it is, they can learn come as an internship, learn the processes, and then find out where the deficiencies are, where the problems are, where the things can be improved, and then develop those kind of things. Again, banks are very, very cost conscious, and then it's very heavily regulated, I would say. So because of that reason, maybe they are not well compensated in the initial stage. But once their product is developed, and if it is sure that it can enhance the efficiency, accuracy, and service quality, that bank will obviously adopt, and then they will be well compensated. Like now, if we talk about Agriculture Development Bank, we have had one single individual who had earlier worked in a bank,
Okay.
but left the bank and then working outside as a technology, software developer. We asked them to develop a centralization software for accounting.
Okay.
So we have 275 branches and 10 province offices. All those expenses can be, approved centrally, and then recorded centrally and paid centrally. So the MIS is also easier, and then we don't have to keep the accountants in 275 branches or 285 branches.
Okay.
So those kind of things, they worked in a bank, and then they were not, as you said, the opportunity working outside was better from the perks and benefit point of view.
Yeah.
And they learned something, and then went out of the bank and they developed that software which is useful to the bank, and then we are buying it.
Okay.
So that is what Agriculture Development Bank is doing, So those kind of, value, if you can add in your innovations, then bankers will definitely adapt to that. And this is one thing I told, but there are so many other things. We provide services, 235, 255, not 230, 255 type of services within the bank, with the customer touch points only, to the customers only, so many different services. And for providing those 255 services, there are 500 jobs to be done inside the office. And all those things we can automate in one or other way, So if those automation, the AI things can be implemented right from the manual jobs to the analytical jobs, there's a huge opportunity. Only thing is that those who are, software developers, they have to understand what exactly the banking product services and the connection with the customers, and then they have to understand the regulated things, because we have to remain within the regulated things also. So remaining within those customer requirement, banks requirement, and regulated things, they can develop the things, and then bankers will easily adapt it, because it will add value. It has to add value. Then there will be a huge, attraction and
Yeah.
market for that.
Just to add on to that, so right now, obviously in countries like ours, there is a massive outflow of really good talent, and I think like in some sense it's great, because people need to go and see the world, then only they'll be able to build a global worldview, and probably build something of real value. So with AI, we see a really large opportunity to build incredibly good technological services in the banking industry, even here in Nepal. So again, going back to the same, let's say a student who is there in the hostel of Puljo campus, like just like dreaming of
Like
building.
Bill Gates or
Mark
Zuckerberg.
building trying to build their
Yes.
dream. Deciding between should I go and do my PhD in, let's say, UC Berkeley, or invest my next couple of years building some solution for the banking industry, AI solutions for banking industry here in Nepal. Where does that person go? Like, who does that person talk to? Let's say if that person has to build something for Agriculture Development Bank. Who does that person go and talk to? Because they are in their technological silos, sitting there somewhere, and banking as an industry is like so regulated. Where does that person start? What can that person do for the banking industry?
It depends. If they want to understand the banking processes, if they want to do something, they have interest something in business side or operation side, then they have to go and talk with the business and operation side to understand the processes, and then innovate something out of it. But generally what we ask is, we have IT department and digital department, two different departments, under the same head.
Yeah.
So if they are willing to work something in the automation side or AI side, then we ask them to talk to the head of digital. And then if they want to talk about some innovations or processes in IT department, like hardware, CBS, the kind of things, then IT department head is there. But if they already little bit know about those things, but they want to go one step ahead and then create something for the business processes, create something for operational processes, and try to understand, then they can start talk from there also.
Okay.
And so, if they don't find the information or discussions as they desire, then they can always talk to the CEO also. Particularly myself, in my case, I always promote the innovations, and love to talk to the younger generations, and then love to promote them also. It will not be always possible for the CEOs to talk to the younger generation, because we have so many other things to do also. But whenever there is a time, we try to accommodate the time, and then give them a piece of advice, what we can do, what should we do, how should we do, that we can do, and then they can proceed further.
Okay. Okay. So coming back to your global IME days, I think what we already discussed was young team going into the market, no one really trusting the team, but then like somehow things move forward. So if today in this AI world, if you had to build a bank again, how would you go about building the team? What are the kind of people you'd interact with? Would it be different? Would it be same? What would be the changes in that scenario?
So would you like to be CEO again? Please.
I mean, the core values and core processes of any industry will not change. Tools may change. The core process will still remain the same. You will still be collecting deposit. Maybe you will be collecting deposit digitally more than a physical cash. Maybe you will have less number of cash counters and more ATMs or other. I mean, digital banking would be prevailing, right? That would be the scenario if we had to open a new bank now compared to when we opened Global Bank. The loan process would be the same. Maybe the decisions will be more prudent by the use of AI. I mean, deposit decision, loan decision, any other administrative decision would be little different and more accurate, more prudent than our decision with our human brain.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I don't see much of a change. Life would be much easier. If I have to open a bank today, I would easily accept it because the bank we opened today would be a lot easier to manage than the bank we opened at that time.
In what sense?
Well, there have been so much of technological support. There has been so much of innovation in banking. All those tools will come handy. And then Govinda has become more mature than he was at that time. I mean, yeah, that is also a factor.
Yeah.
If you still be interested in joining the team, he's become much more mature than that time, right? So we cannot forget the human aspect of any business, or human aspect will still be in the forefront, but there will be so much of tool and technologies innovation that would support us to run a bank more prudently, more efficiently, and more profitable. I think that would be the only change.
Okay. Okay.
Any institution, including banking institution, it runs with people, process, and system. System relates to the technological things. So the first thing, as you rightly said, that human factor is there, and then those who are in the top level should understand the business, the functionalities, the processes, everything. They are, those who are in the policy making bodies, they have to be well acquainted with all the operational side and business side who can give the inputs for the technology people.
Yeah.
And if those people comes with technological knowledge also, then it's all the better. So my take would be, if I am going to open a bank now, then I would start with those people who have both banking experience and technological knowledge on the top level.
Okay.
And then in function level, more of a technological people, because the world is, not only the financial world, the whole world is moving towards the technology everywhere. So, as we said, the newer bank is coming, digital bank is coming. There's no contact between the people, physical contact between the customers and the bank, but everything is happening digitally.
Yeah.
So that is coming. Even the currency is now, digital currency is coming. The people will not have pride to hold the cash in pocket, but having the cash in the digital form, you know. So the new bank would be with the more knowledge on the digital side, technological side, and those having the institutional knowledge also, financial knowledge also. So MBA combined with
Some
IT
technology.
knowledge, technical knowledge would be better, and that's how we start. The people everywhere, people from top to bottom. That's how we start.
So when we look at the banks right now, there's such a large workforce that probably does not come from technology background. When we look at two different industries, let's look at software as an industry, let's look at bank as an industry. in software as an industry, there is a huge chance that the software as an industry will grow 100 times. So that technically means the technical resource probably do not have to fear that they will lose their job if they reskill themselves properly. Then there would be enough opportunity.
Yes, yes.
But then when we look at a banking industry, do you think a bank growing 100 times in a context of Nepal is going to be a reality? And if that is not going to be a reality, then the workforce that we already have, which is non-technical, how do they adapt? Like, what would be the process like? How are you doing it right now in your bank? So, how is that scenario looking like?
Bank's function is monetary function, like he said, taking deposit and giving loans, and that's the core of the banking function.
Yeah.
And that will not have a geometrical growth. That will have arithmetic growth only.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, if your GDP is 4%, then lending will be 15%, 16% growth.
Yeah.
If your deposit rate is 5%, then the broad money expansion will be only about 5%, and then other savings, savings from productivity will add another 9%, 10%. So that's how deposit growth. And within that periphery only, the whole business, the function, the job opportunities, the operations, the deliveries will grow.
Yeah.
So there is a limitation in the growth of the banking sector.
Yeah.
It is directly, correlated with the economy of the country. The production of money also, the supply of money also will grow like that. But in terms of technology, the technology is a medium of delivering the services or medium of producing the services, So for that matter, there has been advancement in technology development, but in banking also. But all the processes, all the product deliveries, all the product designs have not been in the technological platform at this point in time. So there is huge opportunity. Like you said, it can grow in the geometrical terms. If technological output investment is 1 billion this year, and then output can be 2 billion next year. So that's the kind of impact the technology is going to bring, and there is enough market for that. And when there comes the saturation, then again there will be other innovations, because there will be innovations mostly in technology, not in banking products and services. Banking products and services, ultimately it's deposit, it is loan, it is trade finance, it is treasury, and it is payment solutions. Only these 5 things in the banking services. As others will be only the subsidiaries and then medium of deliveries of these services. So there will not be much of innovations in banking products and services, but the deliveries and designs that will come from IT and digital thing.
I think I have a little different opinion than Govind in this. Like, innovation is demand driven as well. If there is a demand for certain innovation, it'll happen. And then the other thing is, if we looked at the example of Singapore used to be a country inhabited by the Chinese. They used to call them coolies, working in the docks, loading and unloading stuff from the ships. And then in the evening, they used to smoke and sleep. That was the kind of situation Singapore was in. And they had a right leader, and that right leader converted that. They would not, a Singaporean of that time would not even see a viability of a bank in Singapore.
Okay. Which year was this?
That was during the 50s.
Okay.
And they would not see a viability of a bank. If you remember, Singapore used to be a part of Malaysia. Later on, they decided Singapore should be independent. Because there was nothing in Singapore, not even water. So from that, look at today, it has become a major economy of the world.
Yeah.
And as rightly pointed out by Govind, unless the other industries, other sectors do good, bank on its own will not flourish.
Yeah.
But we need to, like we're discussing about innovation center in Nepal.
Yeah.
What are the viable sectors for Nepal? Learning center, innovation center, like time zone of Nepal to do business globally, kind of thing. So if you look at in that perspective, banks can grow biologically in Nepal. But then for that, a prerequisite is other industries will have to grow at the same day. Unless there is a credit demand in the market, banks will not collect deposit.
Yeah.
And then unless other sectors do well, there'll not be enough deposit in the market to collect, right? So it's a kind of, can you call it a vicious cycle or something else? So it has a correlation between industries, between service sectors and the bank. So I don't see a reason why the banks cannot grow in Nepal. It will,
Yeah.
and it'll be innovative provided there is a demand for innovation in the market. Like as I told you, there was a demand for an automated payment system. That's why we brought ATM all the way from Brazil, right? There was a demand for a telebanking. That's why we implemented telebanking.
Yeah.
And internally, there was a demand for more efficient customer delivery system. So we adopted to a banking software.
Yeah.
So it's all demand driven. So banks in Nepal can grow provided government has a right kind of policy, a conducive environment for implementing the policies. Other sectors grow, bank will automatically grow. Because if the level of water is rising,
Yeah.
all the ships in that particular water will rise.
Yeah.
Which does not rise will sink. That's all about business as well.
Yeah. Did you have something on this?
No, my point is just to add on
Yeah.
to that. Compared to growth in technology, the opportunity to grow in technology,
Yeah.
compared to banking, it's higher. That's the only point I
Yeah.
wanted to make. Because bank also may grow with the
Yeah.
scale of
Yeah.
economic growth and national, international scenario. Bank will also grow as per the demand or the push and pull both side. But IT has so much digital IT and digital side has so much to grow in the banking, because the use of technology in the banking sector is way behind the world standard. So in the particular context of Nepal, it has opportunity to grow numerous time.
Yeah.
If banking grows 20%, then the IT can grow 100%, 200%. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
For example, in case of AML CFT,
Yeah.
the banks are way behind. Using the AML CFT software, primarily because of the reluctance to invest into it.
Okay.
If we buy the AML CFT software of international level, it costs around more than CVS, 20 crores, 25 crores. But we are doing with 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs rupees,
Okay.
500,000, 600,000 rupees.
So that's an opportunity
softwares.
for young people to
there's-
build
yeah,
something as well.
lot of opportunity. Similar, the AML safety is one area.
Yeah.
Similarly, in credit processes also, in credit processes, what we are doing is only making entries in the CVS is done, using the technology, you know. And then nowadays we have started using the credit processing also. That credit processing also, all the analytical things are, done. The informations are collected, put into the paper, right in the software, and then Word, Excel, and then make the judgment as per the human knowledge. you
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Those human knowledge can be put into the system through AI, develop the parameters, and let the AI decide whether the credit decision is positive or negative.
Does this, sorry to
Yes.
cut you off, does this exact scenario has some regulatory
There is
elements
no
to it?
regulatory restriction.
Okay.
Regulation is open. They allow it, but we are not doing it.
Okay.
We are using the software for credit processing. What we do is we collect the application from the customer physically, right? We scan them physically.
Yeah.
We write the memos, proposals. We have a set format. Everything we write it physically, and then we put those physical documents upload in the credit processing system, and then those credit files moves to the system through network, internal network, and then goes to the different departments.
Yeah.
Like first from the business branches to province offices to head of his risk department, head of his risk department to approval and control department, and if it is to be approved by higher authorities, then it travels to the CEOs.
Yeah.
Then, if it is, within the authority of the board, then it again, printed and then physical file would go to the board. So this is the process right now.
Yeah.
And in every steps, the decision is made by the human brains and then judgment, Whatever knowledge I have, based on my knowledge, I will analyze the thing and then make the decision. Those knowledge and decision varies from person to person. People, whoever sitting in the desk, approving desk, they'll make a logic out of it and then decide. It might be sometimes prejudiced also. So having the same rules, regulations, parameters also, the human involvement may differ. May differ the decisions.
Okay.
May make the different decisions. So, if we put all those things in the system, parameters put in the system through the AI, the AI can capture all those information put in the system and then analyze it and make a decision. Then the decision will always be fair and impartial.
Yeah.
So and that is more efficient way also. The decision making process we are taking, it takes roughly about minimum from the time you onboard the customer to the approval and implementation, and after that also, after approval also, it goes to credit administration for implementation. There also a lot of legal documentations, offer letter, everything happens there also, and then recovery also. So all these things will take only up to approval. So it takes 7 days to 10 days to 15 days to remain, depending on the size
That
of
is
the
right
file
now.
and complexity of the file.
Okay.
So if a corporate customer having all sort of transactions, then it may take 45 days, 3 months also at times.
Okay.
So all those things can be done within fraction of seconds.
Yeah.
Like in cross-border payments also. Recently I had read the article that now the most authenticated and reliable cross-border payment system is SWIFT, which takes minimum 3 days to
Process.
7 days
Yeah.
for fund transfer. After processing everything, only execute the fund transfer from here to America. If you want to send money through the for the import or export, it takes 3 to 7 days.
Yeah.
But China has now, developed a cross-border payment system, which has standard time of 7 seconds.
Okay.
Can you imagine? So same thing, can be done in credit processing.
Yeah.
As I said,
Yeah.
there are, from customer onboarding to credit proposal preparation to risk analysis to approval process to and then credit administration to recovery.
Yeah.
Everywhere we need MIS, we need analytics, we need data processing.
Yeah.
All those things can be done by the AI. And that will be more efficient, accurate, and of course the decision will also be accurate and impartial.
So I think just pointing to the kind of people who are working in these workflows right now. So if these kind of systems are getting developed and then slowly getting implemented, the people that are actually working on these jobs, what happens to them? Like, where do they reskill? Where do they move? What do you think?
No, they can still go to the customer and onboard the customer. No.
Yeah. So
Because
so they would spend more time in business building.
Yes. So people now are more involved in the administrative work.
Yeah.
But if these administrative works and then routine works and analytical works are done by the software or the AI, then those people we can send to the market. Ultimately, to market your product, to sell your product, people have to go to this, different places.
Yeah.
So we can use those resources for onboarding the customer and then understanding the customer for more follow-up, monitoring, and then give more benefit to them, counseling them, advising them. All those things can be done.
Yeah.
The same resources. That's the reason why. If those works which can be done in 8 hours can be done in 1 hour, then those 7 hours can be used for other imaginative, creative things which can benefit for the bank,
Yeah.
and at least for the onboarding the customers
New
also we can
customers.
use. You know?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of advantages.
Okay, so just trying to come towards the end now. It might be a tricky question, but then with all the knowledge, and I ask this to everyone who I talk to, especially in the current scenario in Nepal, with all the knowledge, all the experience, and everything that you have right now, and if you had to build a career back in banking again, would you do it in Nepal, or would you do it in like some other country? Would that be a better solution? What would be your choice with whatever you know right now?
I would always work in Nepal.
Okay.
I would
Why
always.
is that?
Well, I was born here. The society has given me so many. I mean, I was educated here. I mean, as a civilized human being, this country has prepared me as a civilized human being, and that's a big asset for me. So why would I give it to someone else outside?
Yeah.
I would always, always, always work in Nepal.
Do you see there is enough opportunity even now in Nepal to build something of global scale?
Well, opportunity is something I look at it from two dynamics. One is the opportunity should be there.
Yeah.
The other is the opportunity should be created.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you are a fighter, if you are a warrior, you will create an opportunity for yourself. So, yeah, for people like who are going to Dubai or any other Gulf countries or Malaysia, maybe it would have been a little difficult for them to create opportunity inside the nation. But for people like us, I mean, educated, I would rather call myself a privileged class always. Even though I come from a very, very humble family, but now I call myself a privileged class, and the privilege was given to me not only my own skills, my warrior attitude, and also the societal support. So I would always try to give it back to the society.
Yeah.
Always. Given opportunity in 1984, if there was no Nabil Bank, also I would still work in some other industry. Maybe I would be a geologist, but I would still work in Nepal.
Okay. Okay. Whatever you.
Same with me also.
Okay.
The first thing is that, I mean, we are born in this country. We love the soil, society, and everything here. And we have learned so much of things here, and then we have got so much of things from this society, including the prestige, the reputation, everything the society has given to us.
Yeah.
We have to give it back to the society. Number one thing is that. Number two thing is that the pride of being first class citizen
Yeah.
is, I mean, unmatchable. I mean, if you go and work in other countries,
Yeah.
you will always either second class or third, fourth, fifth class citizens.
Yeah.
You will never be regarded as a first class citizens.
Yeah.
And I am so proud of being a first class citizen of Nepal. So nobody can question my citizenship and then my nationality.
Yeah.
I mean, working here. So that's the second reason that I always prefer to work here in Nepal. And third thing is, as you rightly noted about the opportunity, we are a developing country, and we have so much to improve.
Yeah.
And we have so many problems. And there is a saying that when there is a problem,
Yeah.
there is an opportunity to do something.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course, I mean, we have limitations, but we have so many things to do,
Yeah.
and we can do so many things, and then you can be proud of yourself
Yeah.
whenever you can deliver something back to the country, and there are abundant opportunities to serve your country, to do good things, and to make an impact in the society. So massive opportunities here. So people tend to say that there is no opportunity, there is no environment, and going abroad. When there is no environment, when there is no opportunity or problems, when there is problems, then you have all the opportunities to improve those environment and to improve those problems into opportunities. So because of the reasons, and primarily for the love of your country and for your families, your society, that is also another reason you can't stay away. I mean, maybe 2 years, 3 years, you can go abroad for learning and for working also, but ultimately this is your home, and then I want to work here all the time.
I want to take two examples.
Yeah.
One would be Singapore. I touched upon.
Yeah.
Singapore was not at all a nation. Now look at Singapore. I mean, if somebody, a Singaporean, thought there is no opportunity in this country,
Yeah.
then Singapore would never have been built. Today's Singapore. The other country I take example is of the United States. So many natural calamities, there is typhoon, there is whatnot in the United States, but they just rise back again. Those nations were created from zero. But our nation was never, I mean, we were never in a zero state unless there was a different mindset.
Yeah.
We had a different mindset, a culture of going abroad to work. Like, I would not blame the current generation who are going out to work. Just look at the historically also. We always had this Lowry culture.
Yeah.
Always had the Lowry culture, and maybe that has to be broken. And then, as he rightly said, there is problem, there is opportunity. Global, I mean, Nobel Bank was something like we never imagined. Global was something. It was full of problem, right? It was full of problem. I mean, we were the 19th bank. You can imagine how difficult it would have been for us to create a new bank.
Yeah.
One more new
And
bank.
during the insurgency period.
Yeah, during the insurgency. So
That
lot
was a
of
great-
problem,
I
but
mean,
we never gave up. So I would request that everyone should come back. I'm one of the very few parents. Both of my children, they decided to come back to Nepal and work here. I'm very proud of that fact, actually. And I urge everyone should come back. There is enough opportunity in this country. Otherwise, create your opportunity yourself. That's the kind of mindset you should come up with if you have a sense of belonging for Nepal.
Difficulties will be there,
Yeah.
problems will be there, but the primary thing is that what you take as a pride, that's more important. And if you take being a Nepalese as a pride, then you should always work here. That's what I mean. I mean, money, of course, you need, but only sufficient to solve the hand-to-mouth problem, and then a little bit of medical things, that is sufficient. Other things will come with the time. Even here also, if you work, I mean, if you see the lifestyle of the professionals in banking industry, those who came barefoot in Kathmandu, now with all the integrity and discipline and everything, they are now, I mean, having a very good lifestyle.
Yeah.
So you don't have to, I mean, think beyond the national borders to work to have those lifestyle. You
I think
can
like one thing that I see generally, like whenever I travel to the Bay Area or Bangalore or these kind of places, obviously there are problems.
Yes.
But then one thing that I see is that the problem-solving attitude is a lot more advanced,
Yes.
and then people encourage each other to fail, and then in that process, people learn a lot. I think that is one blocker for us as a society.
Yes,
That
yes.
though we have a lot of problems, our problem-solving ability is not at world-class level, and we really don't encourage each other that okay, like if you build a business, you failed, it's okay, you learn something, and then you will move forward. I think that is not encouraged a lot with a lot of ecosystem players. What do you think on that?
The negative.
I think nations should be looked at as a larger family. Unless every citizen of the nation starts looking at the nation as a larger family,
Yeah.
then this problem will never go away. If there is a chronically sick person in your family,
Yeah.
would you give up?
No.
You'll not.
Yeah.
It should be looked at in the same angle, the society is made up of different mindsets.
Yeah.
Unless and until good mindset start converting the others
Yeah.
into a good mindset, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Primarily, what I think is about those negative narratives and people are not willing to face the problems and create the opportunities here. Primarily because of the instability in the governing level, political level, in the national level. I mean, we are a infant country in terms of political system.
Yeah.
It's been only 7, 8 years now, with the promulgation of this new constitutions.
Yeah.
And it is still in the developing stage. And a lot of things, even the political leaders have felt the need to change those, some of the,
Constitution
provisions
for-
of the constitutions and make the things better for the country. So there are realizations in the top level also, but the reality is there is still instability in the power setting. Political system is stable now, but actors within that political system and the government is unstable.
Yeah.
And that has created kind of anomalies in the system, and that is projected as a negative narratives to the youth.
Yeah.
And that has created a kind of negative message to them that there is nothing going to happen in this country,
Agreed.
which is a very, very harmful. We have to understand that at this infant stage of political system, there is so much room to improve, and we are the ones to improve those things also. So the young generation, not only we talked about banking, not only in banking, the young generation should come into this political system, into the bureaucracy, into the business world, and then we can improve a lot,
Yeah.
So just making a negative narratives and then running away from the problems will not make us great again.
Yeah.
We have the history. We are always proud of being independent forever. We are the only countries never colonized. And that history and that pride is always there.
Yeah.
So we have to carry on with those pride and then be able to accommodate ourselves within the country, within the system, and try to improve the system from within,
Yeah.
not from outside.
Okay.
And staying in other countries and then poking here will not make a difference, I think.
Yeah. So just wrapping up now. So let's say I'm a BOD member of a bank, and then I've been hearing about AI so much, and then like the way the human brain also functions, no, like when we hear about some things a lot, there is an illusion that something is already happening.
Yes.
But then when we go to grounds, the technological advancement and technological implementation of that is not at that level. So if I'm a BOD of a bank, and then I want to see which are the areas that my bank should start looking into AI adoption, which according to you are like the lowest hanging fruits that I can immediately start working on as a bank?
Everywhere. As I said, the credit processing is the first thing.
Yeah.
It takes time. It is very analytical. It is data driven. It has to be accurate.
Yeah.
So that is the first area where we can do. And as I said already, there are a lot of manual works happening, and human involvement is there, and human judgment is applied.
Yeah.
Same rules, regulations, parameters, but decision comes different. Depends on person to person who is handling or looking at this file.
Yeah.
So same file, same parameters, same rules, same policy. One person may recommend and approve it. Another person may not recommend or approve it also. So those things, that's where we can start. Of course, customer onboarding, that also we can do digitally. Nowadays, a lot of informations are available in the system. We can do online. That can also be done. And then once customer information or customer account is open, then all those documents and information related to customer we can capture. Once the customer puts documents online or in the database, then we can capture that also by AI. And then put into the decision making process, from onboarding to file preparation to even everything we are typing now. But whenever customer submits the tax certificate, we can capture all those information: tax registration date, tax payment date, tax file, whatever it is. We can capture that from the photo and then put into our analytical format and then generate the analytical outcome. Simple. When we talk, it looks simple, but when we do it, it's quite difficult. All these things are being done manually by the human beings. We take the tax certificate and put into the system in the credit memo, that registration date and all whatever tax paid. So we can start from there, from the very scratch to the approval level and implementation level and recovery level also.
Okay.
So this is only credit. And in the another deposit side also, a lot of human involvement. Like ATMs have come. The chatbot is being used for limited communication. Frequently asked questions are being handled by chatbot now. That is already AI driven. But other things, the services, remittance services, everything can be done by AI also. So those areas and operation side, trade finance operations, treasury operations. So there are so many areas we can do. Start with credit. I think that's where we have to hit first.
One area I definitely think is like consumer service.
Yeah,
because there is a lot of
consumer
technology that is built
Yes,
there
yes,
already. I think
yes.
that is definitely. Do you have something?
I mean, my takeoff is I think we're still in the state of making
Preliminary.
the banks, the society AI aware first.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know.
yes.
I mean, at our level, we are thinking of already using AI for credit, for deposit, for, I mean, human resource,
Transactional
for
services.
chatbot, transaction services. But are we ready at the awareness level?
Yeah.
I think we should start from there. That should be the takeoff point as of now.
Yeah, I think this when we go and interact, train a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
One common question I've been asking for almost 1.5 years is, what is the full form of GPT? GPT, and then I see like almost 98% of that entire mass has been using ChatGPT for a year or maybe two, but then we didn't really find it necessary to really understand what is there inside the technology, what it is built of, and everything. So I think there is a mass level of awareness, as you mentioned, that needs to be done. But then, thank you so much. I think again in the interactions that we had outside the podcast as well, have learned so much about the industry, and then your experience of working together as well. But then, any last thoughts you would have on what we can do in AI, or it can also be anything non-related as well?
You're asking me? The last thought is like if I get an opportunity, I would like to work with this guy again.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
It has been such a wonderful experience working with him and also with Praveen.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
My last message would be, I mean, we are in the private sector business world, we are talking much aware of this AI thing, you
Yeah.
know. But until and unless those who are sitting in the government, in the policy making bodies, and then the bureaucracy, if they are not, aware of it, and if they are not willing to implement it in their level, because the ecosystem is directly connected with them, the regulatory system also.
Yeah.
Until and unless that happens, this will not grow. But the world is moving towards it.
Yeah.
So to catch up with this, the way the private sector is interacting on this, the government sector and then policymakers, the bureaucrats, they also have to do this, and then together we can go ahead. That's how we should move.
Yeah. Now, I think when we look at look at the general state of talent and everything, what we generally see is that there is one spectrum of people having to become AI native first, and then some of them probably have to develop some foundational skills. They will probably start working on core technology projects, and then we also need some very deep skilled people in AI where they can actually build services or deep technology that can actually serve the problem of Nepal. I mean, like if we are bringing a global software, using it here probably won't be the most optimal solution. So that is what we have been putting a lot of effort in, and I think Agriculture Development Bank being one of the early adopters of it, I think that we see a lot of promise and hope in that direction as well. But again, thank you so much for your time, for being here and sharing everything that you did, and look forward to more. And also the last thing is that we started working. It's been a couple of months, so I hope we can have a similar camaraderie moving forward. And then when we have a chat later, you express the same kind of feeling as well. So yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
It's always a pleasure working with him, and thank you so very much for inviting us here.
I saw him, and I knew he is the man.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you.